I've been playing guitar since I was a kid, and I love the guitar. It's been my main instrument for most of my life. But after years of playing, teaching, recording, and performing, something started to happen. My hands kept going to the same places, the same chord shapes, the same patterns, the same ways of writing, improvising, arranging. Not because I didn't love the guitar anymore, but because I knew it so well that I was starting to repeat myself. And then, a few years ago, I played a gig with a Cuban band here in France. They called Double Sabor. One of the guys was playing this small guitar with 3 pairs of strings. When he started playing, I heard something different, bright, percussive, direct. It cut through the whole band in a way I didn't expect for such a small instrument. That instrument was the Cuban Tres. And years later, when a friend finally put one in my hands, it gave me something I didn't even know I needed. A new way to think about the guitar. Not a replacement, a new door. That sound right there, that's what changed things for me. Hey, I'm Marcos. I'm a professional guitarist, and today I want to show you why, if you play guitar, you should seriously try the Cuban Tres. Because this instrument didn't make me love the guitar less, it made me hear the guitar differently. So if you ever felt stuck playing the same chord, the same shapes, same patterns, this little instrument might open something up for you. Let me show you why. Quick context first. The Cuban Tres comes from Cuba, and it became one of the essential instruments of son montuno, and a lot of the language we associate with Cuban music. That tradition is what put me in. That's the door I walked through. But the more I played it, the more I realized something else. The tres doesn't have to stay only inside traditional Cuban music. It has Cuban roots, but it can have a modern voice too. First thing, the tuning I use on the tres is very friendly for guitar players. E, B, and G. The same notes as the first 3 strings of the guitar. E, B, and G. So if you play guitar, this is not completely foreign territory. Your brain already knows part of this map. But here's the interesting part. It feels like someone took the top 3 strings of the guitar and put them under a microscope. 3 pairs of strings, that's it. And that was huge for me, because, be honest, most guitarists know the low E and the A string pretty well. That's where we find roots, bar chords, bass notes. But the top 3 strings, a lot of the time we treat them visually, shapes, patterns, familiar grips. We don't always really know the notes as well as we think. The tres forces you to deal with that. You start moving horizontally along the neck instead of only thinking vertically across 6 strings. And suddenly, when you go back to the guitar, the top of the fretboard makes more sense. Second thing, a lot of the small chord shapes you already know on the top 3 strings of the guitar can be used on the tres. But you know, shapes like A minor, D minor, E7, G7 on the top 3 strings, you already have a starting point. On guitar, we often grab a chord and strum it. On the tres, you can strum, but the real magic starts when you break the chords apart, individual notes, patterns, rhythm. We keep part of your guitar knowledge, but you start thinking differently, more like a rhythm instrument, more like a melodic instrument, almost like you're building a small groove out of the notes of the chord. That shift alone can make you a more musical guitarist. Third thing, the tres cuts. That's the best way I can say it. It's not about being louder than every acoustic guitar. That depends on the instrument, the room, and the player. But the tres has a bright percussive attack that can be heard very clearly in a group. Hear that? The guitar sounds beautiful, but the tres has this punch in the high mid-range. It speaks quickly. It doesn't need a lot of space. In a band situation, especially with the percussion, bass, voices, or other guitar, that can be a big deal. That's why I started calling it my riff machine. Not because every idea is automatically good, but because every time I pick it up, I tend to play differently. Shorter ideas, clearer ideas, riffs that cut through. Little melodic phrases that feels like hooks. If you're the kind of guitarist who loves riffs, improvisation, rhythmic ideas, or small melodic hooks, the tres give you a really fresh place to explore that. And honestly, I think this applies to bass players too. One more practical thing, it's small, really small. It's probably the easiest string instrument I've ever traveled with. Fits easily in a gig bag, comfortable to carry, and compared to traveling with an acoustic guitar, you don't realize how much space an acoustic guitar takes until you start carrying a tres. So here's what I want to do in this channel. The tres was born in Cuba, and Cuban music will always be the foundation. That's where the language comes from. And that's where I think any player should start. I also want to push further. I want to show you what the tres can do in a pop, in a reggae, funk, singer-songwriter, and modern music too. I want to show you what it does to a guitarist's brain, what it does to a bassist's brain, what it does to the way you write, arrange, and hear rhythms. The idea is simple. Honor the roots, but don't freeze the instrument in the past. Cuban roots, modern voice. Now the question I get all the time. Marcos, this sounds amazing, but where do I get a tres? I couldn't find one in my country. And I get it. Outside of Cuba, Miami, and a few specific places, finding a real tres can be difficult. So here's the practical way to start. You can take a regular acoustic guitar, and it's enough to start, enough to understand the tuning, learn the first shapes, feel the rhythm concept. Enough to know if this instrument is for you before you spend money on the real thing. So this is a guitar I converted, and I made a guide for you to do the same with your own guitar. I made a free guide that walks you through exactly how to do it, what strings to remove, how to tune it, and the first shapes to try. The link is in the description. And if the idea speaks to you, subscribe to the channel, because in the next videos I'm going to show you the first tres chords every guitarist should learn, the basic montuno pattern, and how to start using the sound in a real music situation. I'm Marcos, Cuban Roots, Modern Voice. See you in the next one.